Hello and welcome to Mangatory 96, and today we're going to talk about Classroom of the Elite. Today's topic will be one of the most intriguing relationships that Ayanokoji has in the whole series. In fact, this relationship is so intriguing that it took me 2 videos to cover it. I'm of course talking about the relationship between Class B's leader Honami Ichinose and Class D's secret mastermind Kiyotaka Ayanokoji. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as I'll be spoiling a lot of things in this video, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you're going to read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For everyone else, let's start with the relationship between Kiyotaka and Honami. In the light novels, they speak very often with each other, and the primary reason for Class 1B working with Class 1D can be attributed to their closeness. When she first conversed with him and Suzune, Honami was the one who volunteered to share her contact information and phone number with the two, but only Kiyotaka had chosen to accept it with open arms. When Suzune attempts to not negotiate with her as she is an enemy from a different class, the one person who still reaches out to her and accepts her desire to cooperate was Kiyotaka himself. For instance, she was elated to work with Kiyotaka in carrying out Class 1D's strategy against other classes, particularly one that was led by Kakeru. This closeness is much more emphasized when Honami has seemingly no problem with him seeing her sleeping face, and during the moments where she teases him by unintentionally flirting with him many times. She had never shown her vulnerability side to anyone before, much less a boy from a rival class, yet Kiyotaka never once turned her away. He will then reflect on how many boys would wish they were in his position and imagine their scornful looks. Honami wasn't affected by this stoic and religious person of Kiyotaka, and many people could see how she had given him special treatment. She describes Kiyotaka to be the kind of person who is calm-minded and stoic in nature, thinking he has the aura of a senpai that doesn't belong in the same class here as her. Even when the going gets tough for Kiyotaka as she exposed Class 1D's phone swapping strategy, she can't help but be intrigued and drawn in by his calmness and how he was not at least bit worried, feeling there was more to his charm that meets the eye. At first, she initially sees him as a good friend where they were able to have their classes cooperate in tackling an exam, though it eventually forced into something more than that. According to Kiyotaka, whenever the two of them had ended up alone together in the past, Honami would usually be the one to start the conversation. When chatting with him, Honami doesn't mind doing the talking and thinking for him, thinking it will be fine to have him rely on her and use whatever info she can offer him, even if he is not good at exchanging ideas alongside her. She tends to make verbal promises to him, such as the case where he knew about the specific amount of pride points the former had in her possession and questioned him about what he will do with that information about her. Besides tolerating his possible decision of possibly sharing that info to Suzune, Honami indirectly suggests not to blabber or tell it to anyone else other than her, who by any chance were to ask the latter about the private points if he did manage to find out the information regarding her being a class bank for himself. She wants the points to remain a continuous secret between the two of them until Kiyotaka later on secretly betrays her and uses Ryuen as a cover-up to mask his action from her that he spread the rumor of the former gaining the huge amounts illegally. However, Honami did consider questioning how the leader of Class 1C knows she has a lot of points, suspecting someone like Kiyotaka to have probably been the one who gave away that info intentionally and let Ryuen spread it as a rumor. Although Kiyotaka admits he felt ashamed of never choosing to tell the truth about knowing how much her points are worth, or the fact that Class 1D went ahead and planned out their strategy without her and her Class 1B, Honami expressed that she wasn't angry with him at all or what he had done in the past. She doesn't want to see Kiyotaka take the blame or feel guilty over his action for doing anything like trying to look into her phone and easily forgives him for it. It was the same for her as well, choosing to state her apology on the matter and how she can't go into details with him about how and why she got so many points on her. Even though it was one of her closest friends and allies, Kiyotaka, she reasons it was to maintain confidentiality only between her and Class 1B, like the strategies and going ahead with the plan without telling him and Class 1D. She regards that it was her way of being fairly even with him, believing that neither of them should feel bothered about using deception against each other. Once an exam is guaranteed to be over and thereafter, she and Kiyotaka were more than ready to discuss with one another the effectiveness of their class strategies and how deceptive it was to others. During the mind games, the second half of the summer vacation special test, Honami was very observant of Kiyotaka's moves, reading much of his strategies, which is another sign that she is aware of his true intelligence. While she knew Kiyotaka was lying to her during the cruise ship special test final discussion period, Honami only completely outright exposed everything about what he said to her in front of all the group's members and kept quiet until it was just between the two of them talking with each other in private. When she was placed in a rabbit group with him, she would try to ask for his cooperation and opinion on what their next course of action to take if one of the members are remaining uncooperative and avoided discussion. Well, she would like for him to be honest with her. She admits she doesn't like forcing the truth to come out of his mouth if he doesn't want to speak about it. However, when he has chosen to go through with telling Honami, who's likely not the VIP in his class, she felt a bit guilty and apologetic for her actions being what's responsible for his decision. Due to this, she would ask her fellow classmates Tetsuya permission to tell Kiyotaka that the latter is not a VIP target in her class. She trusts Kiyotaka enough to reveal to him that she was not the VIP either, and that if she was, she wouldn't have admitted it in the first place. She doesn't mind Kiyotaka accompanying her on a walk to any place they go. She later talked with him about his strategies and his plan of action. He, however, spread rumors about her huge amount of points unbeknownst to Honami later down the line, which was revealed to be legally obtained by her to trap Ryuen from Class 1C, though the man caught on to it and decided to play along in order to find the true mastermind of Class 1D. However, even though Ryuen admits he was the perpetrator of spreading the rumor about her, Honami can't help but suspect Kiyotaka was the one who revealed the information to him while factoring the people in her classroom who knew about the class secret. Recognizing how cunning he is, she believes Kiyotaka should have been somebody her class was supposed to be far warier of than either Suzune or Hirata from his class. She considers the possibility that her being placed in the rabbit group instead of the dragon group must have likely had something to do in relation to investigating Kiyotaka. Based on her analysis of him, she considers Kiyotaka as a very amazing and intelligent individual after taking into consideration so many of his feats where he saved Airi from danger, the action he took during the special exam aboard the cruiser, along with how fast he is during the sports festival in the first year of school. She did her homework on Kiyotaka, examining what she knows about the extent of his abilities he's shown so far on the surface, informing her classmate Ryui Kanzaki beforehand of what kind of opponent he is. In the sports festival competition, this would include the ranking Kiyotaka had in the 100-meter dash, understanding well how his thought process works, such as holding himself back intentionally by not revealing everything regarding his full strength. It was for that reason that she cast her doubt on whether Suzune really pulls all of the success and achievements for Class 1D on her own, believing Kiyotaka must also have had some major role in it. When she sees Kiyotaka running to save his classmate Airi, Honami can't help but desire to follow after him and help the guy out despite not being fully aware of what was happening at the time, until the former discovered that he tries to stop a stalker. She likely believes Kiyotaka is a good person for trying to save people. In situations like this, where they confronted Airi's harasser and cornered Kakeru's classmates, she and Kiyotaka are able to work extremely well together as a pair, skillfully acting as either partner in crime or pretending to go a couple of lovebirds. While putting up such a fake act of deceit to bait them and to lure out their true intentions, she and Kiyotaka were able to somehow fool others into running away from the scene of the crime and confess their wrongdoings to conclude cases revolving around sexual harassment and allegations. Because it was him who she sought after for advice, Honami chose that he is not someone who would speak a word of this matter to anyone without considering her situation. Knowing a bit of his personality, she undoubtedly believes in Kiyotaka as the kind of person who will even openly share everything or anything at all with people about the troubles she mentions to him, choosing to keep it a private matter between the two of them. Though they are rivals from different classes, she has shown a remarkable trust in him to the point of willing to create a secret between them. She deliberated in her mind whether to see Kiyotaka as a possible threat to her classmates in reaching Class A, feeling indecisive and unsure on what to make of his personality, other than considering his ability and keen intellect. Before completely falling head over heels for him, she remains troubled whether to continue seeing him as an ally or a threat to her classmates, regarding him to be almost threatening to her class objective until deciding to dismay it entirely. She doesn't enjoy dwelling on the thought of seeing him from an allied class become her enemy someday, but rather remained curious about what he was up to behind the scenes, while Suzune seemingly was gaining all the fame from his class. Later on, she got into deep trouble dealing with a rumor called Honami Ichinose is a criminal. Kiyotaka has a conversation with her about her circumstances. After Valentine's Day, Kiyotaka decides to save her from the bad situation she was in, after which he visits her room and she confesses to him that she used to be a shoplifter. He tells her that it doesn't change his opinion of her and saves her while helping her to get back up and move forward. She felt in debt to Kiyotaka and what he did to help her stand back up stronger as a class leader, feeling that she must express her gratitude by preparing the latter gift that she plans on buying him. Later on that day, she asks him if she can rely on him and he opens up by her by accepting her request. For this reason, she decides to take into consideration the idea of consulting Kiyotaka about her problems as long as he has time to spare for her and he doesn't trouble him on his class. She nervously gave him chocolate as a thank you gift. This is especially special as was the first time she has ever given someone chocolate on Valentine's Day. Despite initially stating that she only likes him as a friend, Honami begins to subconsciously develop romantic feelings for Kiyotaka as they spend more time together, and the closeness they share is more emphasized based on her classmates' opinion of the two. On the other hand, she finds engaging in a conversation with him like they usually do was getting harder to keep up consistently each and every time they're together. When Kiyotaka gives her his gift as a thanks for the Valentine's Day chocolate, Honami accepts what was given to her much to her own embarrassment to how she feels and acts around him. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover on Kiyotaka's and Honami's relationship. And that'll be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.